Greetings, Questers. So we're going to cover in this tutorial all about actions. The action system is part of Questline, is an incredibly powerful little tool that is kind of built into various character sheets. You can see the D&D character sheet that I'm looking at here. There is a actions component that is a part of this. And this is a part of the basic component system for pretty much every character sheet that can be created. All character sheets can add this basic action component that will grant people the ability to add them and build really customized actions that you can perform that will roll a number of dice or whatever that you need for your game or your character. And in this one, we're going to do a very simple set of actions for D&D 5th edition. So I'm going to simply click this Add Action button here, or the link, and it will bring up a new action. And so there's a number of options here to look at that can get very almost overwhelming when you're trying to look at this at a high level, but just try to keep in mind keeping it simple is probably the better option. So let's do a simple longbow attack, right? So we'll use a longbow as he's an archer, and I'm going to just simply give it a name. And then I'm going to talk about the individual sections here. You have your general area. You can create an actual icon for this, which is pretty useful if you want to be able to use this later. And we'll add an icon here towards the end. What we're going to get into is adding details. And so if I click this add button here, it will let me pick a various set of details that can be useful to describe how this item is. In D&D, you have a number of different properties that are useful for an action that lets you kind of know what you can do with it, how far it can go, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to quickly pick the range because this is just a simple attack. I'm going to pick the D20 action type, and I'm also going to add in a simple description. And I'll simply hit add. And what it does, it adds these 3 details to the action window. And I can actually go in and I will talk about this visibility. And there's 4 different states of visibility. Hidden, which, you know, if you read what it says, don't show this detail outside of the editor. Character sheet only show this detail on your character sheet action pane. Result only show this detail in the result text of the chat window. So you won't see it in your character sheet, but you will see it in results. Or full, and it will show it both in the character sheet and in any results that end up on the chat window. So by default, a lot of times I just usually set this all the way to full so that it's easy for everybody to see. So we'll take a simple longbow. Let's say it's 120 feet. I don't remember what it is for short range. We'll do 300 feet for long range. I believe it is much more than that. And then we'll move on to the next item. So the value for action types for D20, I can pick an action, a movement, a bonus, a reaction, or minor. In this one, it's just a simple action. And then I'm going to say this is a ranged attack as a subtype. It's a fillable field. You can type in whatever you want. And as a ranger, I'm just going to go pew pew for a description. So given that, now you come into the effects section, and the effects can be as many effects as you want. And there's a lot of different options here that give you some really good, useful power as a player to display all of your dice rolls in one single click. So I will simply do this. I'm going to add another effect because I'm going to have 2 of them. My first one is going to be the attack effect, which I'm going to set up here. There's a bunch of options that are available in the dice bag for D20. These options are specific to the dice bag that we picked at the very beginning of the game when we created this game. So what we're going to do here is pick this as a roll, and we're going to leave that as is. You can hide this so that the roll is hidden from players if you wish to, or hidden from anyone but the GM and yourself. There is a optional flag here to say a requirement. You can put some text in there to say, you know, you have to be in this kind of state, you have to be grappled or something to make sure that this, you know, gets triggered. You can pick a damage type. You can pick an ability score that modifies this. You can pick your proficiency that modifies this. You can also set this so that it will use a critical threshold, so that if it reaches the threshold, it will trigger a critical attack. And then if you're using a critical attack here and it triggers, that this critical target will be the target of the critical benefit. So in the case of doubling your dice, it will do that. So we'll go through the example of doing this for a basic attack. You can also set it up so that you can have disadvantage, a standard roll, or advantage based on what you want. So because we don't need to do some of these over on the right, we do want to actually set up an attack is going to use an ability score that I have. I want to set it so that my proficiency affects it, and I'm also going to make it as a critical trigger. And so very quickly, my attack option is a d20. It's a 1d20, so I will simply leave that there. I don't have any base bonus because maybe I'm not using a magical weapon at this point. And I'm going to pick an ability score. This is going to be based on dexterity. And then I'm going to use my proficiency, and I have the options of none, half, full, or double. And this is based off things like I only get half my proficiency, my full proficiency, or maybe I have expertise and I get double. So I'll pick full, and then I'll go down to damage and create that effect. And this gives me the opportunity to say I'm going to pick a damage type. This is also affected by my ability score because maybe I'm using some sort of bow that allows me to add my strength. But as it is a piercing weapon, we will simply find piercing. The ability score may be strength, but you know, maybe he has a special bow that allows him to add his dexterity to this effect. And then finally I'm going to set this as the critical target. Obviously I'm not going to roll a 1d20, I'm going to roll a 1d8. And there very quickly I've created kind of this really custom action that lets me do a lot of really interesting things. Now I'm going to pick the icon and we'll move on. Alright, so here I'm going to drag in a very cool little icon. Lets me pick this. I'm just going to confirm my thumbnail and hit add. And you'll see as soon as I hit add, it saved my character, added this longbow effect, and you can see it's added in some of these details right here so that I can very easily see them. I can edit it if I really want to here. I can change the order of this if I have multiple actions. I can edit my order, then I can drag this around to change the order so it's a little easier to read. And then I can again see the action details of what's going on. So what you'll see is that my attack and my damage don't have any sort of bonuses. It's because I haven't entered anything. So as an Elven Ranger, I'd probably have an 18 strength. And that's all I really need to change. And then my proficiency, let's say we're level 3, so I'm probably only going to have a 2 proficiency, I believe. And you'll see, as soon as I did that, it actually automatically calculated these values. And so this is where the action system can get very powerful. As time goes on, I will improve this action system to include other components around various games so that you can include various abilities and things that will modify this and let you very quickly and easily modify this. Now as an action, the best part about it is I can simply click on this icon here, roll, and it will bring up the dice dialog for me. And within this dice dialog, it pre-populates all of the settings that I've already done and that I can pick anything else before I actually decide to roll at this point. Let's say maybe I get a bonus +1 because of some circumstance. And so I can simply add that bonus and hit roll, and there you go. I have a really nice roll that comes out. It's very easy to read. It's very easy to see the results. I can click on the results here, and I can see that I rolled a 12 with my bonus of a +7 at this point. And then my damage was a base of 6 with my 4 dexterity adding on top of that. And that turned into a really great roll. I can also click individual rolls that are on an action. So I can click this and it will simply pick up this one. I can also click this one and it will simply pick this up. On top of that, I can also take this icon and I can actually drag it down as a hotbar item, which then I can quickly access at any point in time. And it lets me use this as a quick action that is something common that I'm going to use. And it makes it much easier for me to do all my attacks and all my things more often. I do plan on adding more things in the future, in pretty near future, where you can be able to drag things like your skills and rolls for other things. If there's a roll, I want to be able to add it to the hotbar so you can quickly access them. And that's how the action system is. You can get into much more depth, and I'll probably do a follow-up video that will describe some of the more complex actions that you can get into, but this is a really good overview of how to create your actions and how to create a quick hotbar item and it's great to be able to see all of your tooltips right then and there. So thanks for stopping by, and keep questing.